The Bond villain behind the elite's annual gathering in Davos is obviously nervous. Klaus Schwab kicked off the annual confab by trying to reassure attendees that they still run the show.
The world faces critical challenges: extreme weather events, misinformation and disinformation, increasing divisions within societies, within countries. The future is shaped by us, and particularly shaped by us here in this room.
Shaped by us in the room. Warnings of disinformation. Can't make this up. This is the epitome of uninformed arrogance. Let's compare the response to Trump at the World Economic Forum in his first term to how he was received today. It was quite something to behold.
Of course, I'm aware that your strong leadership is open to misconceptions and biased interpretations. Therefore, it is so essential for us in the room to listen directly to you.
The importance of American leadership and your personal leadership is fundamental and paramount. We are here to hear your vision and policies related to revitalizing the economy and addressing the global challenges.
It goes from tolerating Trump at Davos, that first soundbite, to kind of, well, acknowledging grudgingly that he's a force to be reckoned with. It's quite the change in tone, but this morning Trump treated his Davos appearance kind of like a Zoom call with a message to clueless Klaus.
I'm pleased to report that America is also a free nation once again. On day one, I signed an executive order to stop all government censorship. No longer will our government label the speech of our own citizens as misinformation or disinformation, which are the favorite words of censors and those who wish to stop the free exchange of ideas and, frankly, progress.
It was so refreshing to watch from beginning to end. It was Trump's message stood really in stark contrast to the Davos dimwits on almost every issue. And remember, they are not going to stop fighting as much as they can to destroy gas-powered cars, the entire oil and gas industry.
Our fossil fuel addiction is a Frankenstein monster, sparing nothing and no one. All around us, we see clear signs that the monster has become master.
Ooh, lofty rhetoric. But the real monster scenario is found in the world where they have all the power and individuals in free nations are forced to submit. Well, Trump's going to have none of that.
I terminated the ridiculous and incredibly wasteful Green New Deal. I call it the Green New Scam. Withdrew from the one-sided Paris Climate Accord and ended the insane and costly electric vehicle mandate. The United States has the largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we're going to use it.
Greenheads were exploding from the Swiss Alps to China. Of course, China is banking on its ability to totally annihilate the American automobile industry by sucking us all into electric vehicles. Now, on trade, Trump was just as blunt.
The EU treats us very, very unfairly, very badly. They don't take our, essentially don't take our farm products, and they don't take our cars, yet they send cars to us by the millions. They put tariffs on things that we want to do. We have, hundreds of billions of dollars of deficits with the EU, and nobody's happy with it, and we're going to do something about it, but nobody's happy with it.
The agenda is now and always will be America first.
My message to every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply, you will have to pay a tariff.
But it wasn't just business issues tackled at Davos. The gender benders, they're also panicking that they're losing power. Now, who knew it was a global priority to protect drag shows?
What we've enacted is free speech for algorithms, not free speech for citizens. We're seeing an uptick in violence in the United States against LGBTQ people. It's everything from attacks at drag shows to trans women being murdered on the street.
And once again, Trump beamed in and laid waste to that insanity.
My administration has taken action to abolish all discriminatory diversity, equity, and inclusion nonsense. America will once again become a merit-based country.
But the fact is, the globalist titans of industry and politics and media, they gather at Davos, and they're never going to be comfortable with what Trump represents. They might put on a good act, but never will they accept it.
Official policy of the United States that there are only two genders, male and female. And we will have no men participating in women's sports, and transgender operations, which became the rage, will occur very rarely.
I love this. Common sense. Boys are boys, girls are girls. Back in the United States. Well, at least for some of us.
There are many, many instructions in this one executive order to, in essence, exclude trans people from various forms of shelter system under the auspices that a trans person is an inherent threat to non-transgender women.
Okay. Women were called women. It's gone from women to cis women, now non-transgender women. It's like the nomenclature about illegal aliens. That's changed too. But what's it going to be next?
Exactly. You know, I thought it was inappropriate to misgender other people, but apparently that's what this lawyer, who is, I don't know whether male or female, is doing by coming up with this a whole new gender. Who ever thought that we would need an executive order to basically lay out what any child in the second grade knows, which is there are two genders. Nothing wrong with, obviously there are a lot of people who are confused, as we have seen, but forcing the rest of us to bow to their confusion is insanity.
Well, Charlie, as we're finding out, the more we look into it, a lot of kids become confused in public schools and private schools, for that matter. And a lot of parents speaking out about that, whatever people want to call it, grooming or propaganda or, gender bending. But I mean, kids hear a lot of stuff in school that is not related to reading, writing, and arithmetic. And Donald Trump's going to have to figure out if there's a way for the federal government to gradually start defunding the schools that continue to do this.
Yeah, and of course it's not, we're talking about public schools here. Public schools have gotten in on it. Obviously the universities have gotten in on it, and it is propaganda. And you do enough of it, and it starts to affect people, especially people who are already sort of vulnerable in that department. In Northern Virginia, just this week, a registered sex offender, was arrested hanging out in a girls' locker room at a swimming pool without any of his clothes on, because he was claiming that he was somehow a woman. And it took the school district like a week to go and arrest the person, the man, because they didn't know what to do. This is the kind of insanity that I think just shows that the left has gone so far over the edge that it takes something like an executive order from the president to say, look, enough of this nonsense.
And if you look at I'm just talking from a human life. I don't care, Russia, Ukraine, US. These are human beings that are just being slaughtered on this battlefield by the millions. They've already died in cities. The cities are like demolition sites there. Many people died. One thing with the Ukraine war, you're going to find many more people died. They've lost about 850,000 Russian soldiers and 700,000 Ukrainian soldiers. So the field is interesting because it's very flat. It's great farmland, okay? It's very flat. There's no protection. The only thing that's stopping a bullet that gets shot, they can go for miles, is a human body. And they're being hit left and right. And they're losing millions of people. Young, beautiful people are dying on the battlefield. And it's got to stop.
Russia is intensifying its bombardment campaign as it strikes multiple Ukrainian cities. Moscow fired Iranian-made Shahed strike drones as it targeted the central city of Cherkasy. In the eastern city of Pokrovsk, the Kremlin launched a barrage of more than 130 Shahed drones, as well as numerous decoy drones, according to the Ukrainian Air Force. Local authorities say 3 multi-story buildings and 3 houses suffered extensive damage. The drone set ablaze a large portion of a 9-story building covering 1 square kilometer. And in the Dnipro, more than 150 houses suffered damage of varying degree. Locals say the attacks were like a nightmare.
At least 3 people have died following an overnight Russian drone attack on Kyiv on Friday. According to Ukraine's State Emergency Service, drone fragments hit a 10-story apartment, causing fire and destruction on several floors. The attack also damaged several private houses, a shop, and 3 vehicles. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has claimed that Putin and Zelensky share equal blame for the war.
You know, if he's no angel, he shouldn't have allowed this war to happen. First of all, he's fighting a much bigger entity, okay? Much bigger. When he was, talking so brave and so... Now, 2 things happened. They were brave, but we gave them billions of dollars. The United States spent $200 billion more than Europe. Why did we spend more? You know why? Because Biden never asked Europe to spend more.
In the interview, Donald Trump also reiterated his intention to heavily sanction Russia if a deal is not reached to end the war. Zelensky has held several meetings with European leaders in recent weeks about the possibility of sending NATO peacekeeping troops to Ukraine in the event of a peace deal. Russia, however, has strongly opposed this prospect, saying it would lead to uncontrolled escalation.
Now wiping out a whole duck farm on Long Island. We're talking about Crescent Farm, said it had to euthanize 99,000 birds because of an outbreak. Just the latest instance we're seeing of the big impact that this bird flu outbreak has had all across the country. More than 136 million commercial backyard wild birds. So that's like farms, that's the chicken coop in your neighbor's, yard or whatever. They've been infected with bird flu. This is across every state. 67 people have gotten it. 1 person has died. And there have been bird flu reports in dairy cows as well in all these states that you're seeing here. Egg supply, this obviously trickles down. It's taken a hit. The prices are the highest they have been in the last year. The thing that I think people want to know is, what is this bird flu outbreak nationally? As we are seeing it spread now to every state, right, coast to coast, egg prices spiking, as anybody who has eyeballs that has been to the grocery store has seen. What does this mean for people? What is the risk for humans here?
As this risk increases, not just in domestic animals, as you mentioned, but some people in chicken coops, domestic cats, but it's expanding from what is called bird flu. We're seeing it in dairy cows. There is a higher likelihood for transmission from human to human. Has not happened yet. Big emphasis on the word yet, because the more chances there are for this virus to mutate, the more chances it's going to take to get into human hosts.
And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. My heart goes out to you. It is thanks to you
I think it's time to understand that the Crusades in principle were a good thing. Islamic armies, starting with their prophet Muhammad, had already conquered and subjugated 2/3 of the Christian world, including the Holy Land, Egypt, North Africa, and Spain, and was now poised to overwhelm the Byzantine Empire and the rest of Europe. So Christian nations, seeing these expansionist intentions of the Muslim world, recognized that this wasn't going to stop. The First Crusade was a defensive war. Muslim Turks and Ottomans continued to attack Europe all the way up until the 20th century, and it's notable and not well known that during that time, over 1 million Europeans were abducted and taken back to North Africa and to the Ottoman Empire as slaves.
This is great parenting.
Do you? Keep reeling. I think you do. Reel. You do have one, J-Mo. Okay, keep it over here. Keep reeling. That's a good bass too, dude. J-Mo, hold on. I need the net. J-Mo, reel it back here. Dude, are you freaking kidding me right now? J-Mo, that's a freaking huge bass. Are you serious? Look at this, dude. Look at this fish. Are you insane? I'm not holding that. You have to go get your pictures. Oh, yeah. J-Mo. Yeah. J-Mo. Hold that stinking fish up. It's too heavy. I know it. Look at this. J-Mo, that is insane. Look at that fish. It's a small one. No, it's a big old largemouth bass. Oh, I can't hold it. Oh, yeah. Send it to Mama. J-Mo, trust me, I'm sending this to everybody. Hold it up nice and big. I can't. Hold it up like this. Watch. Watch. Let go. Let go of this part. Let go of this part. Hold it like this. 2 hands. There you go. Hold on, ready? Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right, stand right there. I gotta get another picture. Oh yeah.
Laughing my ass off. This is like the Husky store.